Filipinos were introduced to Buddhism and Hinduism sometime before the 9th century CE. The archaeological record and documents found in China and India show that some Philippine barangays and islands owed tribute to the Srivijaya Empire, a powerful Indonesian Buddhist state that controlled the maritime trade in the area between the 6th and 13th centuries. Their influence was followed by that of the Majapahit, a Hindu-Buddhist state centered on the island of Java. Both Buddhism and Hinduism influenced the existing belief systems and culture, and influence was made easier by the language connections that seem to exist between Philippines and Indian Sanskrit.
Swasti, or in Tagalog mabuhay, and in Kapampangan luwid kayo. The Laguna copperplate inscription was written in the year 900. It is the oldest known surviving dated document from the Philippines. In fact, it is 1,120 years old as of this video. And it was not written on a piece of paper. As the name suggests, it was inscribed on a plate of copper, a piece of precious metal. The discovery of the copper plate in 1987 along the banks of Laguna de Bay or Laguna Lake to the east of the modern-day capital city of Manila on the island of Luzon bewildered most scholars. It was not written in Baybayin, nor in Kulitan, nor in any other known Philippine scripts of the time. Instead, it was written in the old Kawi script of Java in what is now Indonesia, an ancient writing system that was far more complex and more developed than the Baybayin the Spaniards encountered in the 1500s. But it was not even written in the ancient Javanese language either. In fact, it was written in an old language that no longer exists. An ancient language that seems to be a mixture of many different Southeast Asian languages of today, with hints of Sanskrit and Old Javanese. It has elements that survive in today's Tagalog, Kapampangan, Bahasa Indonesia, Bahasa Melayu, and others, which is why it was hard for many scholars to understand its meaning. It was only in 1990 when Anton Posma, a Dutch anthropologist and expert on ancient Southeast Asian scripts, the beloved father of the indigenous Mangyan Heritage Center, was able to decipher this mysterious document. And in 1996, the historian Hector Santos was able to precisely convert the date to the more familiar Julian calendar. Therefore, the 4th day of the waning moon in the month of Vaisakha, year 822 of the Siaka calendar, was Monday, the 21st of April, year 900 in the Western Julian calendar. Or, according to my own conversion, Monday, April 26th of the year 900 in our modern-day Gregorian calendar. And as it turns out, this mysterious copper plate was a legal deed. It documents the official pardon acquitting the Honorable Namuaran and his descendants from the debt he owed. Namuaran was never able to fully pay what he owed, yet he was pardoned by Jayadewa, the ruler and Senapati of Tondon, or Tondo in what is now the city of Manila. A pardon that also saved his descendants from slavery. Apart from Namuaran and Jayadewa, many other ancient names appear in this document, including Namuaran's children, Lady Angkatan and her brother Buka, and many great rulers and other place names throughout the different islands of Southeast Asia. In short, it was some sort of a legal record, an official announcement to the greater Southeast Asian world that the debt he owed has been forgiven, and thus Namuaran and his descendants are no longer subject to slavery. The inscription also tells us about the complexity of the ancient society, about debt, gold, and slavery, about social class and social mobility. It even provides us with insights on the ancient but advanced sciences, mathematics, and astronomy that our ancestors have mastered long before Western scholars even emerged from the Middle Ages. The Laguna copper plate is but a small piece and a tiny peek into the society of our forgotten ancestors, yet the significance in our world today is unquantifiable. It pushes back the official history of the Philippines 621 years before the so-called discovery by Ferdinand Magellan. It debunks many misconceptions and miseducation about pre-colonial Philippines. For one, it tells us that our ancestors were already civilized long before the Kingdom of Spain was even created, when the Iberian Peninsula was still deeply on the fringes of the greater Arab and Muslim world. And more importantly, it proves that the islands we now call the Philippines was never isolated from the rest of Southeast Asia and from the rest of the greater civilized Hindu the Buddhist world, at a time when Europe itself was still adrift in the chaos of the Dark Ages. Now this is just a quick introduction into this magnificent document. To learn more about it, you can check out the links below for some additional readings. Or keep an eye out for my next book where I'll be sharing more about this priceless ancient document. There will also be a Tagalog version of this video coming soon. You can also tune in to Season 2 of At Home and Abroad, in which I'll be featuring the ornate traditional Kapampangan metal art known today as pukpuk, because our traditional science and art that created the copperplate inscription never really disappeared. Instead, it evolved and adapted to the changing times. And that is it for me today. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, don't forget